Yes, we are indeed ready for the next run. We have What the Car Any Percent being run by Heponwana. Take it away.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in. I'm in morning time, so good morning. I am Heponwana. I'm going to be showing you What the Car. This game is the latest in the What the video game universe, if you know What the Golf, and if you know of the very obscure VR game What the Bat. This is the third one. Came out on Apple iOS devices a couple years ago, but just came to Steam and the PC back in September, so relatively new in terms of being a PC game. Game is real friendly, real fun, a lot of puns in it. There's nothing really too triggering in terms of flashing lights or violence or anything like that. Very cartoony, so very family friendly. A few things before I start to just explain what I'm doing. In bottom right corner, in tiny itty bitty font, you can see I'm running version 4.5.0. That is the original Steam release, which for a long time was the fastest. Recently, some of the newest patches actually were discovered to be faster, so this is kind of an antiquated run as of like a couple days ago. So that's kind of interesting. Also, other thing is I'm going to be going into this screen to load up user-created levels, so I'm just queuing this up so it's in my game's memory. Everything else we'll explain as we go along, because this is a very silly, fun game, and I hope you'll have a lot of fun. I hope you'll consider donating also, because great cause. So time begins as soon as we tell this to reset our save slot, because like many speedrun games, we start a new run by deleting all evidence of past runs. So time will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we will skip the tutorial because we already know how to play. And by we, I mean me, but I hope you will understand as I go along. Part of my commentary style, I want to make sure you know what it is I'm doing, because a lot of games I speedrun can be very interesting. Interesting meaning weird. So right here, we are a car with legs. What the car? And we have Teddy on us. Teddy is a teddy bear and wants to get us to a party. And to get the party going, we need to find all of his friends. And there is a friend in each episode. The category we're doing is any percent, which means we play through the original 7 episodes. So each episode has these required levels. We reset a lot of our runs or a lot of our stages as soon as we begin the stage, purely because we will have an introductory movie when we start a stage. So here we are, a car with a jetpack and legs, and we're just going to get to the finish line. That's what driving a car is all about. So as we go along, we need to follow upper right corner. You'll see a percentage. That is not the percentage of the stages like 100% speedrun. That is the percentage in terms of if we are doing any percent. So we need to get 100% of most episodes done to get the any percent. There are optional stages, there's optional collectibles, there's optional a lot of things. So if you look, the path is going to diverge to the right with a dotted line. Dotted line is optional, and red stages are user-created stages, which are obviously not part of most speedruns because they're user-created, so they could change and alter and be weird. Weirder than this, we're a car with big legs. Never get too used to anything in this game, because once you get used to a stage and a mechanic, you get maybe 2 stages with that mechanic before we're jumping into a whole new mechanic. I love the big legs. That is the only time we're going to see it on this run. Instead, we are now going to see the worst. Little legs. We got the little jumps now. And these little jumps are not too good for speedrunning, but we're still going to make the best out of it. These bears, if we run into one, we won't lose or anything, but those bears, they have a lot of physics. And that's part of the challenge of this game. There's no real RNG, but there is physics. And the physics can act very silly. We're now a car with springs. So we've got a bunch of springs on us. We want to avoid going into the pit down below. Oh, and I barely misaimed on that, but we'll make it up right here. Go ahead and hit those dash pads. You don't need to go through the finish line. You could go over it. Under most cases. There are a few stages going over is bad news. Also, we're not going to reset this stage right here because it doesn't have an intro movie. So instead, if it doesn't have an intro movie, we don't need to reset the stage because we are not going to skip the introduction. The introduction, by the way, if you see it, 1 second. Did not want to cough into all of your ears. So, real quick, before I explain what I was going to explain, here we want to load up a user-created level. No, we don't want a user-created level. We'll exit out. Normally, when you hit that generator button at the end of one of these paths, you have to hit all of them to open that gate, to open the treasure chest, which is where your friend is. But you will ride a bubble back along the line that you created going to that button. And as you ride back, and I'll show you this at a couple points in this run, it is slow. Instead, if you load a user-created level right then, it'll count the button as being hit, but you could instead go back at your own speed, which can be quicker, and, speed running. We want to be quicker, save some time. So I mentioned before, those bears have a lot of physics. So the important thing about them is we want to avoid typically hitting them unless we want to slow down. So if there's a bear and we hit it, we are going to lose a lot of speed and momentum. A lot of other obstacles don't have any physics or don't have enough to really be all that important for speed loss. So here we see this card. We've already seen a few of them. Those cards are only needed for 100%. 100% is beat every stage and collect every collectible card. We're going to skip those cards whenever we can, because if you get a card, right here at the end of this screen, the card pops in, and it eats up maybe about 0.2 to 0.5 seconds, which isn't much, but we do a lot of levels, which could be a lot of time lost. So now we are a car with an umbrella. Like I said, anytime you get used to a mechanic, you only get a couple stages of it at most before we move on to something new. So now we're a car with an umbrella. Avoid that card, which is very tricky to do. Cards have bigger hitboxes than you would imagine. And we don't want to get them. We will get a few during this run. There's one you absolutely cannot avoid at all. Casually, any percent, 100%, speed run, whatever way you're doing it, there is one you can never skip. The sad thing of skipping those cards is and skipping the intro movie, we don't get to see the awesome pun-filled names of these stages. So, for example, some stages are named after what it is. So, previous stage was Car with an Umbrella. This one, though, is Carry Poppins. Like Mary Poppins, but with car. Because Carry Poppins. This game is filled with puns. I love puns. Puns are awesome. If you do any donation, put some pun messages on it, because puns are great. Some people call it the lowest of humor. I disagree. Oh, I did not need to reset that one. That one does not have an intro movie. Oh, and we got that card accidentally because we want to hit that jump pad because it gave us that speed boost. See, there we go. We lost a few frames. We lost like 0.2 seconds, but we'll make it up by having the quickest stage in the whole run. Don't do this if you're at a playground for real, because that is not safe, but there we go. 1.5 something seconds. Ooh, 1.6. That was slow. Boy, you could feel how glacial that pace was on that one. All right, once again, load up a user-created level. No, we don't want one of those. So we would ride a static bubble following this path perfectly. And it's not the fastest speed. So instead, we walk on our own, and it's quicker. And then we're going to grab this treasure. Treasure, once again, a little slow to open. So if we grab it, we now have our buddy from the treasure chest. And this is the end of episode 1. And that's actually my current best ever on episode 1, despite a few little hiccups. So let's keep this good vibe going, keep this good speed going. Our buddy we picked up, you'll notice, had the sports finger, the We Are Number 1 finger, and a sports jersey, which means we're in the world of sports. And this area has 3 different lines we need to go down. And a lot of awesome optional areas that sadly we will not see. First area we have is, what if we were riding the ball? And so we want to avoid those bears, keep jumping, because every jump is a speed boost. Every jump is going to get our momentum just a touch faster, although there's a little uphill there that causes things slow down. And there we go, goal. Just like in soccer, you just have to get it either in the net or over the net. I'm sure that's how soccer works. I'm a sports ball person. I know how this works. Car tells me you just have to get it over the net. And we get another one of this, but this time, what's the point of soccer, sports ball, football without feet? So now we have the feet try and kick us, and they can cause some major issues for us. So we're going to try carefully to avoid them. And here we go. We are just going to keep going through the sports ball. And once again, we just need to get in the net. There we go, in the net. That's perfectly in it, and that is another gold crown. Every stage will give you a gold, silver, or bronze crown based on were you fast, were you kind of fast, or should you have been faster. And speed running, obviously, we are hoping to see. Oh boy, that was a slightly sloppy. Oh, we're going to have to do the intended route here. Or we're going to have some issues. Wow. So, if you do that really good, you could get in about 6 seconds. We got 15, which is still considered a gold, but we came close to the 6, lost a little control. Physics be physics, and sadly we won't see bowling. But now the shoe is on the other foot, so to speak. Instead, we get to be the net. And we just gotta lead this guy right into our net. He will follow the trails, so it makes it really fast, 3.1 seconds fast. We want to avoid the ball here, but obviously we want to take a more direct path. And there we go. We will load up in our user-created level, because if we ride the bubble back, here's the other thing about riding the bubble back, it will take us all the way back to that gate. And we don't want to go that gate in the far corner of this area, because we need to go here next. So that's a lot of time lost. And now, the joy of playing this on the original patch. The first patch for Steam had something called, one of the patch notes was removed unfortunate particle effects when car is ball. The unfortunate particle effects, my car is kind of tooting. That is not intended. It was accidental. They removed it in the first patch, and sadly the new routes that use the latest patches, I'm never going to see the poor car tooting ever again. So we're going to enjoy this tooting, because this might be one of the last times I personally ever do the tooting, because this is the final car, or there is one more car is ball level, and then that's it for the unfortunate particle effects. We want to make sure we use our special dash at the right time so we could keep as much momentum there as possible. That jump is meant to be almost impossible. You're meant to go around, and instead, we did it perfect. So, coming up next, we have one more car is ball. This time we don't need to skip the intro movie, and we just gotta get it in the goal. Kidding. The goal is actually right there. It was behind the fake goal. That was some Wile E. Coyote type of stuff right there. We outsmarted that. And now there's a bunch of cannons aimed at the path. I'm sure they want to be friends, right? Or nope, they don't. So that's going to be a hint of what the theme of the next two stages are. We have a cannon. We have a ball cannon, and we are going to try to move through this. This is one of the trickier areas, especially if you play with controller. The world record holder for this, Wesso, plays with keyboard and mouse. I am horrible with keyboard and mouse. Crown goes on upside down because our car is upside down. I go with controller. It's a little weird for some of these stages. That just feels better to me. Final car has cannon, and we are going to do some skips. Oh boy, that was unfortunate. Barely hit the physics. So the good news is my estimate always accounts for some lost time, because this game, just the physics on its own, you will never get a perfect run of this game. It's always going to be an adventure. And here we're going to slow down just a little, because this one, if you go over too high, you will actually not count and you'll fall into the water. So because of that, we slowed down on that one to make sure we actually got through for real. And then, once again, we don't want to ride the bubble back. It would veer left, and then it'd veer right, and then also it would follow this path all the way to that right-hand corner. It takes a second for your bubble to pop, and instead, we want to go here. It's a lot quicker this way. This is where runs go to die. This is the part of sports where aim is a lot more precise than you could ever imagine it to be, so we're going to hope for the best. Also, the next two stages are foosball. Foosball is known for trolling you on runs, so we're going to hope for the best here. This can go really bad, so we're going to hope for good news. Okay, that went incredibly good. That does not go that good ever. Under 3 seconds I have never had in that stage. The next one is Ultimate Foosball. Ultimate Foosball is what if foosball was super long. So we're going to have foosball after foosball after foosball. And there's going to be some of the defending players are explosive barrels. Alright, we're just going to keep them going through. And there is a lot more technique to this than you might be thinking, because we are limited by where our little car players, whatever you call a foosball player, we are limited on where they can go, and some of them can only kick certain areas, so we gotta be very mindful of those foosball players. This one here can be real tricky because these guys can catch your ball pretty easily. And then, oh, we avoided the keeper getting the ball, which is perfect. Normally the keeper gets the ball, holds on to it for just a second, and then kicks it back. And that's a time loss. Speaking of time loss, we are coming up to, hopefully you know Rocket League. You know, a game about cars playing soccer. It sounds a lot like this game, right? Well, welcome to the Rocket League section. This one, aiming is very, very tricky. That one went very good. The second one, though, once again, we had foosball and ultimate foosball. We're going to have Rocket League and ultimate Rocket League. This one here, if you notice left side of the screen, there's a skull on the map. There are bonus levels, and some of them are the skull levels, which are the ultra challenge levels. Okay, and problem with Rocket League is, I'm just going to reset there. Problem with Rocket League is it can be very tricky to control, and you could easily overshoot something and get the ball in a very tricky spot. Luckily, that worked out on the second run. Actually, one of the best I've ever done on the second one. Sadly, that first one existed. I just did that first one to show you, though, how bad it can go. That was educational. That was non-intentional. By the way, this keeper has a bad habit, always jumps to the left. Well, my left. We took a second there to wait for the ball to land. Until the final one, the ball had to actually go in the net and not over the net. And if the ball it appears and it bounces a little, if it bounces and you kick it, even with a soft kick, it could go right over the net. And that would have been a time loss. So, going the wrong direction there. What am I doing? All right. And now we will go the end of this, and we are done with sports as soon as we open our treasure chest and see who our new friend is. And our new friend will tell us, what type of stage are we playing next? Oh, come on. This is one of the challenges also, is sometimes those user-created levels take time to load, and that can cause some time loss. All right, so right here, we have a guy in a suit. We are actually going to work. We're going to work some jobs. You know, cars have to do jobs and stuff to pay for gas, I guess. Speaking of work, always need a coffee break at work, and I grabbed some coffee right there because it be morning, and morning is an early time of day, so gotta keep my brain going. So now we are going to be a car on office chairs with essentially the old fire extinguisher while on office chairs. So this right here, we are going to be using bears in this area for some momentum breaks, because otherwise, well, let's just say we have a lot of momentum and very little friction. So with very little friction, we can go crashing off of the world very easy. In fact, the second stage of these two is very much about, hey, maybe you're going too fast for your own good, because we're going to hit a speed jump coming up. And after that speed jump, let's go ahead and hit these bears. There's a glass wall there that would have led to our demise. So we avoid that, and we are good to go. And look at that. Coffee? Don't mind if I do. Next up, we have two more in this area. We're going office jobs. Tech support is on a dotted line, and we don't need to dotted line levels, so we're not going to go tech support. Instead, we're doing what you should never do. We're going to work while sick. Never do that. Hopefully your work gives you sick days. Every job should give sick days. Sick days should be mandatory for everyone. But we're going to use our power of coughing to get home and rest. Getting our gold right there. This is where physics, though, really come into play, because every object has a chance to bounce us up a little bit, and every cough we do is just going to be an explosive little push of momentum, and you put all of that together, and we're going to see things going a little weird. Oh, missed that dash pad, which is really what we wanted to hit there, because that dash pad would have let us jump over a gap in the road. Instead, we still get through, we still get a gold. We're not going to complain about that. And we're going to finish up with the office part of work, because, you know, not every job is working in an office. There are other jobs out there. And we're going to learn all about them. Some of my favorite stages and some of my favorite types of work are coming up right here, including, here is the one card you cannot skip in the whole run. You have to mow the lawn, and that card is in the lawn path. This one, Ed Carr Scissorhands. Let's see the card say it. It'll say it real quick, and then I'll skip it. Ed Carr Scissorhands, and there we go. We're moving on from that. Card might eat up a few frames, but we still gotta keep moving. And then coming up here, we're a car on a Roomba. I don't know how being a Roomba rider is a job, considering they're kind of automated on their own. Well, unless you have dogs. I have dogs, and I'll just say my Roomba is not all that automated because my dogs decide to not let it be. They love throwing things in its path. It's very non-helpful. Speaking of dogs, we are here to raise money for animals. So if you do have it in you, please do remember to donate some money. And we are now almost done. After we vacuum up the CEO's desk, we are done with our Roomba right there. All right. So now comes some more fun of jobs, including, if you know the game Cook Serve Delicious, kind of along the lines of that one, we need to make a burger. Look at that, in record time, employee of the month right there, burger made, customers happy, only a hair over 5 seconds. But, you know, make a burger, those ingredients have to come from somewhere. You need to do prep work. And we're going to do a little prep work right here. Do not cut more than you need. And I'll show you why in a second. I'll show you as I finish this up. If you cut too many, it explodes. And if it explodes before you finish, then you end up having a problem. And then pretty much you have to repeat that whole stage. Also, you don't have an option on what ingredient you're pulling out. So if you accidentally put away your ingredient before you cut enough of it, you will have to cycle through all of them, including the collectible card is one of the ingredients. You'll have to cycle through all of them to get back to that one that you missed. So that stage is a little trickier than it looks like it should be. Here we're a drone delivery driver, being part of that gig economy right there. And one stage left. Looking at upper right, it says we're at 90%, so we're pretty much done. One stage left, one job left. We're going to go to the bank. So you're probably wondering, how does a car work at the bank? You know, what type of job at a bank? I didn't say a job at a bank. We're doing a bank job. What better role for a car than being getaway driver? Take that money and run. We need to avoid these lasers. Every jump slows us down. The longer we run without jumping or steering, the quicker we go. So we're going to take these very, very precarious outside edges. Slight mistake here and you fall in. This one we can't avoid. We have to jump. But if we jumped any of those previous ones, especially because they're heading uphill, we would have landed on the hill and lost a little momentum, which would have been bad news all around. So instead, we're just moving as quick as we can. Once again, we hit the button. We don't want to wait for it. So we're just going to ride on back. And you will see on my next one, I will ride that bubble back, because we are now at the one reason why we play on this version, this old antiquated version of the game, because there are glitches. I know, no holidays allowed, but glitches are allowed for this event. And there are glitches on Longer, episode 4 Longer. If you look past this barricade, there is an active button over there. And if we fall off, we will respawn at the button. They got rid of that glitch later on later versions of the game. That's why we play this old, early version. But I guess now on, the newest strats have you actually not needing to worry about these skips. It's actually quicker to play the 2 levels we skipped. But here we are, we're in Longer Land, and we will skip those 2 stages, and we will skip 2 more stages. So, And you have to love, you could watch the bears doing what you're doing in the background. You know, we're all part of this together. Now, same thing we just did, but what if it was big? You know, it's called longer. The first one was long, we have to make it longer. So, here we go. I don't know why there's so many clowns here, but it's all about clowns in the land of longer. So because we skipped that one thing, though, we have a barricade that is still down. And in order to get back to the start of this area, we're in a cardian right here, by the way. To get back to the beginning, we are going to have to ride the bubble back. So I'll show you why coming up real soon, but I just wanted to say that. So here we're in a cardian, and we're just going to spring our way through. Coming up next, you know another thing that's real long? Caterpillars. But you know what's even better than a caterpillar? A caterpillar. A caterpillar. So here will be a caterpillar. So we move one end and then the other end. Make sure you have nothing under you, be it a box, be it a bear. If you have something under you, you will not be able to trade what head is driving, so you will be stuck. You always have to safely land on the ground. That's all there is to it. And boom, we are across. And now comes the last stage of this part of Longer. And this one is Snake Car. Not a good pun, but it's snake. And this one is pure RNG. This one can be really nice or really mean. That is nice, that's less nice. We're hoping the last one is going to be in the top part of this. One last one. Yes, that is the nicest place it could end. It is purely RNG, so you could have those spaced in the worst spot, or you could have them spaced in the best spot. That was medium. That was pretty good. The last one was fantastic. So here, you can now see what it's like to ride this bubble, because like I said, we left a gate closed. The only way to get back to the other half of this stage would be to go back to the very first screen of the whole game and go through each map screen one at a time. But that bubble will force us through. And see here, it's a little slow going back riding that path. Once again, we have another one of these boo-boos, and now it's all about giraffes. This is probably the hardest stage in the whole game, because anytime you have awkward shaped tires, the game becomes practically impossible to steer, and that happens. So we also have a dash ability, which, let's just say, we don't want to use it too much. This is incredibly hard, and almost missed that exit. If we missed it, there's no chance to turn around, because we are so really we're out of control with those tires. Now comes, what if Spider-Man was giraffe? Like, we get kind of web swinging right here with giraffe tongues. And so we want to try to keep aiming so our tongues are pretty close to obstacles that we could grab. And that'll get us through nice and fast like that. And now comes the important question. What if this game was like Tony Hawk? But that wouldn't make sense in Longer, unless, what if you were a car riding a skateboard that's actually a giraffe? This game makes complete sense. This is the most logical game you will ever see. We're going to do some grinding. We don't want to follow that whole grind rail though, because that whole rail would have gone in a curvy line, and the quickest path to the exit is a straight line whenever possible. I don't know about you, I really enjoyed that giraffe is a skateboard. So let's do another stage of that. let's do giraffe is skateboard, but let's go a little bit extra on this one. A little longer, a little more wacky, more grinds, more jumps, more everything. So we want to ride this rail. We just don't want to ride the beginning of the rail. And then we will just flip off the edge right there, go up here, and look at all those dash pads. By the way, those donuts will speed you up, but in order to get to those donuts, you have to take a slower path. We don't want to take a slower path, even if it means going a little faster. It's slower in the grand scheme of things. And now comes question, what if you had long legs, but those legs were giraffe necks? That makes sense, right? It does now. So here, this is personally one of my least favorite stages just because there isn't too much really strats or variability with it. You're just pressing the button every time you want to place your foot. Oh, poor bear, I just kicked him into the ravine. I'm sorry about that, little bear buddy. So we're just taking as short of a path as possible. And then we'll mash the button so our legs get all tangled. And there we go. And now comes the ultimate question. Have you ever wanted to yeet a giraffe? Because that's how we're going to end this. You ever want to yeet a giraffe? Let's yeet a giraffe. Let's do this. All right. We're just going to throw that giraffe, and oh, physics went bonkers on it this time. I've never seen its neck do quite that. But we got through there. And now, once again, we skipped, so that gate is closed, so uh-oh. I did this. That means we can't get through that gate because we don't have the bubble. No, I'm kidding. This one, actually, you can teleport back to the beginning if you fall off right there, avoiding some of the stages. So when we work our way back, we want to avoid certain stages running over them because it will affect how we respawn if we do pop out of existence. All right. Now we have a guy in a high-vis vest and a hard hat. That means we're going to learn driving. At long last, you'd think a car game driving would be episode 1. Well, obviously not. Episode 1 was all about jumping. No, we are now going to learn how to drive. There are 4 areas in this. The first area is all about being a unicycle. And this one, we have a dash ability that refreshes when we don't use it. So we want to be smart about when we use it and how we use it. That big green puddle, it may look dangerous. It's not. That green puddle is actually perfectly safe to go into because we are going to have to go into some green puddles. We're also going to try and take the best route on this stage where we are a car in a hamster wheel, but things might go not good. This stage, it's all about just holding the button and we're constantly accelerating. This stage is incredibly tricky to get the best route, so we are going to be we're going to hope that we get the best route, and it essentially requires us hit 2 dash pads right after this jump. There we go, we hit 2 of them, and that let us skip all of that windy road that you saw to the left. If we would have only hit 1 of them, because you could pop up and land too far ahead to hit the first of those pads. If you do, the second one, you won't have enough speed. You'll go right in the drink, unless you turn sharply mid-air and change directions in air. And changing direction in air is tricky, and you still have to go the long way. So that worked out all in our favor. But this time, it's for real, which is what the name of this stage is. This time for wheel. I love bad puns. So here we're going to see the card, but this time for wheel. And then one more unicycle stage before we go to the next section of driving. And so this one is one wheel to rule them all. Hopefully we don't see the card that tells us that, because we want to avoid grabbing the card, because that is loss of frames at the end, of course. So here this area can be really tricky because we want to not land awkwardly on the next hill, but we want to avoid that big upward jump, because that upward jump would have hit us into the card. So here, we're gonna hit this, and there we go. We had a clean exit through the first of 4 sections of driving. Personally, I think this is the least interesting one. It's pretty cool, but it's kind of uninteresting. Come on. Oh, connect to the servers. There it goes. The one RNG you cannot control in this game more than the physics is if it'll connect quickly to the servers or not, and there is no other way to do that skip. And this gets us over to bike rental quicker than if we ride that bubble back. So now we are riding a bike. And this one is a dash that refills as we let go of it. And so we want to be mindful of how quick it refills or how slow it refills. And there we go. A little more coffee. And of course, I'm going to have a lot of time for coffee coming up on the final part of driving. You'll see that soon enough, but we still have a little more bike riding, a little secret hidden jump pad there. So UFOs, as we saw before, will let us float over gaps because, you know, UFOs, they have their tractor beam that they use to abduct us. I mean, they abduct all of us, right? I'm not the only one. Hopefully not. I mean, this car gets abducted by them. All right, so there we go. Done with another bike one. Here is where we really get to see in the speedrun or any percent or casual route where the world has an effect on you. So we have wait for this elevator. There are more things like that in previous stages where the, now we have upward jump. So that'll let us go over these. So in previous worlds, if we want to get 100%, if we want to play the optional stages, we could have seen all sorts of ways that the world map is kind of a playing environment. But this is the first time we really get to see it in the casual or in the any percent route, or the most direct route, I should say. We have one more bike level, and this bike level is really tricky for one jump. One jump can go really wrong. We're going to hope it goes right, obviously. I mean, it'd be real weird if we weren't hoping it went right. So down we go. And so we're going to take the shortcut here, and we're going to have a very... There we go, perfect. That one is easy, you get too much momentum, and with those sharp turns, too much momentum, and you will fall off the stage. And the car jumped over the cow. And there we go. That is the end of bicycle time. And we will do something that might seem a little unexpected. We're not going to the next group of stages over. Instead, we're going to go 2 over. Because we will actually want to ride the bubble back on the last one. And here we are doing slot cars. This can go really good or really bad if you grew up playing slot cars. I know, very old school type of thing. I played a lot of slot cars as a kid. One of the challenges is you want to go fast, but if you go too fast around a turn, you're going to fly off the track. So we want to avoid doing that, except for when we don't. I know, that just made 0 sense, right? Well, let me show you when we do want to fly off the track. And I don't mean this here, which was designed. I mean, let's go flying off the track. We will get a card here. Break it till you make it is the name of the stage, name of the card. And by doing that, we got ahead of the gate, and therefore the gate caught up to us when we stopped moving. We're going to do that again here. This one is incredibly tricky. It is about frame perfect. I'm going to go ahead and take a bash at the start just for the fun of it, because there's no time lost for that. And so we are going to have, it's about a frame perfect trick right here. Did not make it. Hopefully we get it on the next one. I have had it where it's taken me upwards of 5 to get that. I hope we don't see that, but the good news is we are well ahead of our estimate, so we're not going to fall behind on that, but there we go. That is what we want to see. Wait for the gate. Look at that. Car is like, what? What just happened? What happened was we got ahead of that. All is good. Avoid that car there, because that car going on the slot car track around this area will cause us some problems. If it hits us, we kind of stop moving for a while. So now we are going to go to racetrack, and we are going to be a car with Hot Wheels. We are going to be the coolest car possible. Well, at least in these levels. There is another category called All Episodes, which after the game came out for Steam, they introduced 2 new episodes. So there is episodes 1 through 7 in the iOS release, but then Steam got episodes 8 and 9. Episode 8 is called Sandstorm, and it's all about Mad Max style world. So think of anything from Mad Max, and that's what you're looking at. And so that one has some really cool cars that you turn into. So here, though, it's all about Hot Wheels. So I grew up playing with Hot Wheels. It's about having loop-de-loops and whatnot. Avoid that card. Perfect. Take the shortest, straightest route. Hit that bear. Luckily, no bears were actually harmed in this because they're all cartoons. We are going to have another Hot Wheels stage. This one, we are going to have a bigger loop-de-loop, and we are going to try and skip it. If we skip it correctly, we save about, maybe like 8 seconds, 10 seconds. I never really bother timing. I just know we saved some time. If we mess up, we lose a minute. So we're going to try it once. If it works that one time, awesome. If it doesn't, well, let's just hope it works the first time. So here, we're going to continue along these paths. I love this Hot Wheel car. I love the music here. The music's a little quiet in this game. It's pretty much the same song on every track, just slightly different like tempo and emphasis on different parts of it. So here we are going to try and skip the big loop-de-loop. You can see how big it is. There we go. We skip the loop-de-loop, and boom. And now, after such an awesome stage, my least favorite stage in this entire game. I mentioned before, anytime your wheels are unusual shaped, it is a pain. We are a car with bad wheels. Personally, I blame all these bears for throwing this green goo all over the track. This is incredibly difficult. And I really don't want to fall off the track. And believe it or not, I am fighting this thing relentlessly. It is so bad. Look at that bear throwing the green goo. That's why we can't have nice cars. That's why our wheels are so bad. But now we are at the slowest part of this. We have to wait for this bridge. It's 30 seconds. So if we do have any announcements, this is like the perfect time for them.
Absolutely. And I'll give you a moment to catch your voice again. We do have a donation. We have $10 from Anonymous with no comment, but it is appreciated nonetheless. It's going towards a great cause. And if you too want to be an awesome and cool person, you can donate by typing !donate and finding the link to our Tiltify page, or just look below the stream. It's also linked there. We haven't gotten any puns in yet, and we wouldn't want to disappoint Heponwana. There are many jokes that could be made, certainly about this game, because there's a lot of ridiculous things happening, and I am here for it. Give me your best puns, y'all, and I'll toss it back over to you.
All right, and there we had a car with too many wheels. Might have said too many, but personally, I think that was the right number of wheels. I wish I could show you some of the skull levels, but those are the hard ones and not part of the speed ones. But here we're a car with parenthesis W, close parenthesis, HEELS. We're a car with heels. And so a challenge here, I have never walked in high heels, but from my friends who have, I know it can be a little tricky to make quick moves. And so we want to avoid too many uneven surfaces and any fast movement, any fast turns, we will fall down. Unfortunately, if we slow down, we lose all momentum, and you'll see how slow we got. This stage, incredibly tricky, but look, car is just styling in those heels. Car with W heels. And now we're going to ride this one back. Why will we ride it back? Well, remember that bridge that took forever? If we went back manually, we'd have to wait for that bridge. That is a loss of 30 seconds or more, all to try and save time. Not a good look, you know? And now we will get our final episode related buddy. So, okay, there we go. So here we have a dude with big flippers. I think we might be going to an episode dealing with water. In fact, I know we are. You might say, I know this game. You might say, spoilers, I know what's coming up on this. So here we're going to water. Water has some awesome stages. It's also the last real episode. There is episode 7, where you finally get to the party. Episode 7, though, is really short. It is only 2 minutes and change, so we're going to try and get through episode 6 having as much fun as we can. So here we're a carp. That's a car with a P at the end. We're a carp. And so this one is all about just hitting those speed boosts. There's also, sometimes you might find mines on the track. And the mines, if you're playing this casually, you'd think, oh, I need to avoid those mines like a plague. You know, avoid them like the worst thing in the world. We're actually going to use those mines when we can. Sometimes we'll be going too fast to take advantage of them, but if you're a fan of, old school boomer shooters, you know all about rocket jumps. We're going to be doing some mine dashes. Same general idea as like good old-fashioned rocket jumps. But only when they actually work for us. So like right here, we're going to be going too fast for that mine. By the time that mine blew up, we were already in the next stage. So, Other important thing for going back, doing that stage select and then going back, not riding the bubble, you'll notice every time we go from land to water and water to land, our speed goes through a little bit of a change. So because of that, we are actually going to ride this bubble coming up back on its own. Here, our only button we have is for a horn. Those mines won't blow up soon enough for us. Those mines blow up, the quicker they blow up is based off of how close you are to them. And unfortunately, your pontoons here do not count as you for the mine sensitivity. So the mines will not blow up all that easily while you're riding in this one specific fancy trimarine, I believe it's called. So there we are. That's just kind of disturbing. Eyeballs in the mouth, so separated, just, no. All right, now a boss fight. You're thinking a boss fight, what? Yes, we need a boss fight in this game. You'll notice we have a cannon, and it's going to tell us, because we're not using it, hey, press the A button to fire. Well, that's what firing looks like, so we need a boss to shoot at. 3 shots perfectly, right on target, perfect cycle. You want to go 3 shots. That's about as quick as you can shoot them. It's a little hard to aim because the camera's kind of in that cinematic camera. And now it's time for some karaoke. So good old karaoke. And you can honk as little or as much as you want, as long as you get some sort of honk in on the honk ones and no honks on the dots. You'll see that card down below. You're like, how do you even get that if you wanted it? Well, I'm on a screw. I could screw in while I'm doing this and grab that card. But we don't want that card because that's a time loss. This stage was pretty much an auto-scroller because you can't go quicker or slower than the speed of the music. Speaking of going fast or slow, riding the bubble here, it's about 17 seconds. Going back on your own because of this water to land and land to water transition, it is about 32 seconds. So it's about a 15-second loss. So we ride it back. And now we are a shark car. That's like a shark and a car put together, a lot like a carp. But shark cars are good at jumping. So we're going to do some jumps here. We're also finally going to hit some mines and get some mine dashes or mine boosts, which is going to be awesome because I love the speed increases. I love anytime you get some cool speed tech going. And on this one, riding those mines is amazing speed tech. So here we go. We are going to get a mine boost right here. Look at that nice speed boost. We're going too fast for that one. And there we are. Shark Car has finished a stage. On the bright side, I enjoyed Shark Car a lot, so you know what'd be a lot of fun? Another Shark Car stage. And the game, they oblige. Here we go. A little more Shark Car, a little trickier this time. More room for routing. There are several different paths you could take. We're going to take the fast path, obviously. That's what speedrunning's all about. I highly recommend, if this game is looking fun to you, give it a shot. Not too many people speedrun it. I would love to see more people speedrunning this game, but also, I'd love to see more people just playing this game because this game is so much fun. It is ridiculously fun. Ooh, Hitsay underwater almost went into the drink, but I survived. But I would love to see more people speedrunning this game or just playing it casually because this is so fun of a game. And while I'm getting 100% of the stages, I am skipping most of the cards and I am skipping all of the optional stages. There is a user-created stage feature where you can make stages. You could share stages. This one's just like those giraffes that we were riding as skateboards, but now we're surfing. We're going to get a little speed boost here. That's how we do it. Perfect. This game, though, there are so many different mechanics you haven't even seen. The world maps have like their own stages going on, where the world maps are actual stages. We want to make sure we hit that dash pad. It's easy to turn too quickly and to skip that dash pad. The thing is, that dash pad will point you in the right direction. So aiming incorrectly to hit that dash pad will get you aimed towards the exit in the end. Let's have another surfing stage, because surfing is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with the surfing right here. With surfing, important thing is we just want to keep our lines as short as possible. Also, you do a little bit quicker if you can ride at the exact right spot on the edge. We want to avoid this card, because once again, cards are all about losing frames. And this will be the final regular surfing. However, up next will come the stage that another one I'm not a huge fan of. Parasurfing. Or paragliding. Parasurfing, I never know the difference. I'm not a water sports person, but here we are just going to cruise on through. It's going to tell us we could jump, and we can. This one, I'm probably going to get a silver. I always get a silver on this one by 0.1 seconds, because this one is about as close to an auto-scroller as you can get. You can't even get those mines to help you any. It's just literally going slow as you can. And there we go. We are through this one. Not my favorite stage, because, like I said, off by 0.1 seconds from a gold. It's very auto-scroller-ish. There is a little technique to it, but not much. So, despite all of these water-to-land transitions, we will actually not ride the energy bubble back on this one. We're also down to our last 3 regular stages. Another one with big, weird, awkward feet, but this one, believe it or not, I actually enjoy a lot more than like the giraffe feet we did earlier. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon when I said I enjoy it, because, okay, physics just went physics on me. This is how it should have looked. There we go. We do get a good mind boost coming up here. That's a very good mind boost. And we're going to hopefully get one more coming up. Right here. There we go. And this is another one. You could go too high over this exit gate. And if you go too high over this exit gate, you will have to do some turning around. Luckily, you will land in an area that will allow you to turn around, unlike the one I mentioned earlier. So now, we got another job. Cars got to pay for fuel one way or another, so we're going to help people with their floaties. Pay attention to these 3 bears here with the banana floaty. I have a feeling they're up to no good. I mean, look at them wearing traffic cones on their head. They're up to no good. I wonder what that no good is. Well, I think we're going to find out on the final stage of water and the final regular stage of this run. So, what are they up to? Oh, they're harassing our poor car. There we go. We shake them off and get free. Sub 5 seconds is beautiful to see right there. We're going to come in way below estimate, which is amazing. This game can go really bad or really good. So important thing, if you ever want to speedrun this, on the way back here, make sure you don't do water to land transitions more than you need to. second off, do not touch any stages on your way back. And there's a reason for that. If you touch a stage, when we open the treasure chest and do our little skip through everything by loading a user created level, we're going to respawn at the last stage we hit. Instead, by doing this, we respawn at the exit gate and we are out of the water area and on to party. So time is coming up in about, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. If all goes well. And it should, because this part, very, very simple, very straightforward. We've been skipping opening treasure chests, and we're going to have 3 treasure chests to open up here. And we're going to skip 2 of them. If you skip the 3rd one, you will soft lock the game. So if you do play this one casually or speedrun it, if you decide pick it up, do not skip the 3rd treasure chest. You could skip any 2, whatever 2 you want for the first 2, but do not skip the 3rd one. Right here we have essentially an auto scroller. For this party, they want us to design some artwork. Let's see if I can... There we go. That's some good artwork right there. That's probably the best I've ever drawn here. And then we have another 15 more seconds to go. And then after that, they need some more things for this party, because you can't have a party without artwork, as well as a couple other things. And there we go. This bat will fly us away. We'll open this treasure in a hurry. And now we need music. This one does not have a countdown timer, so instead we're just going to tell the music we're good. That's it. That's a good song right there. And now time is coming up in less than a minute. So all we had to do here, not skip the next one. If we skip the next one, like I said, soft lock. And literally there is no way to undo it. You are soft locked on this save file forevermore. So we need to get through a dance number. And so time is coming up as soon as we get onto the minecart, and that gear shift in the bottom right corner fades away as we ride the final mine into nothingness. So we're going to go ahead now, and time will be coming up really soon. We open this treasure, and you'll notice this is why I skipped the treasures. Look how slow it is to open them. Oh, there we go. We're going to talk to our friends. Time is in about, 5 seconds. So let's say 3, 2, 1, time. And that's it. That is the run. That was a beautiful run right there. I think I was somewhere around a minute, or an hour, 5 minutes and 23-ish seconds, which is really good. If you like this game, please consider picking it up. Please consider speedrunning. It's a small speedrun community for this game, but it's a lot of fun, and we love sharing tricks and all of that. Also, it's good cartoonishness. It is so much fun. Just keep playing. And of course, get donations in. I died a couple times during this run. I think it's 2 times that I ended up dying. I'll call it 3. I'm going to donate $5 per death. I'll just call it 4 because I'm not sure. So I'm going to donate a little bit for my deaths. And thank you so much for having me. Remember, this is a great cause, so do donate to help animals. Animals are so amazing. Look at all the bears we saw here. So donate. Thank you for having me. If you want to see my speedruns or anything like that anywhere, I'm Heponwana on Twitch, on YouTube, on Blue Sky, any social media. If there's a Heponwana, that's me. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for running this wonderful game. GG's in the chat, y'all. Coming up next, we have Lena's Inception, and we're going to get that set up for you in just a moment, but we're going to take care of a few things in the back end, and we will be right back.